night after we had a big rain and windstorm the last couple of days, just sort of checking things out. And I thought I'd tell you, a little story about my helmet that I had for a grand total of 27 hours. And that may sound like a real short time to own a helmet, and yeah, it sure is. So what happened back when I was racing, I had missed part of the season because my job, I just couldn't get the time off to actually go to the track. And apparently there was some incident that happened where a racer got hurt, and they decided to change the specs for the helmets that are required for racing. And we use what's called the Snell rating, which is a slightly higher rating than the DOT rating. And generally what happens is the organization stays about one Snell rating below what the current one is. So for example, the helmet I'm currently using is a 2005 rating, and I think the current one after that is a 2010. But what happened was they've had some riders get hurt, so they decided to up the rating faster than they normally would. And what happened was I was at the shop I was racing out of to pick up some stuff before I went to the track, and one of the guys happened to mention, he goes, well, you haven't been out there for a couple weeks, so they just announced at the riders meeting they're going to start making certain everybody's on the new helmet spec. And of course I checked my helmet, and sure enough it was the old spec, so I knew I was going to have to get a new one. So I'm at a bike shop, so this will be easy. I just said, well, what have you got? And they said, we don't have any. They've sold out of them. So then I went to a couple different motorcycle shops before I finally found a helmet that was the modern spec that I needed to get. And that was around a little bit after lunchtime on Friday. Like literally like around 4 o'clock I'm leaving to go to racing. So I load up, go to the track, and of course the first thing they do when you're getting your bike inspected, the first thing the guy actually wanted was my helmet. So I had to hand him my helmet to, and the first thing he checked was to make sure it was the right Snell rating, because apparently there was a lot of guys that had old helmets, and they were running around trying to get helmets, borrowing them. A few guys actually drove into the town, which was about an hour's drive, and then an hour back to get a new helmet. So luckily I had my helmet, so I was out there for practice. Everything's going great, having a great time. And we have qualifiers on Saturday, so I went up for my qualifier, and the first couple corners went pretty well, and then in the fourth corner of the track, in the first lap of the qualifying race, me and another guy had a disagreement about who owned what part of that track, and unfortunately he won. I ended up having to drift wide, and I ran off the track and had a pretty big crash, and the end result was my helmet was completely destroyed. If you've ever watched the Jurassic Park movies and you know what a Raptorosaurus is, it looked like I took a couple hits from one of those. The helmet was completely gouged right down to the material, like the underlaying material. My visor was only being held on by one strap, and it was gouged so badly that you could actually bend the visor the wrong way without even having with your fingers. It was so easily. So that didn't exactly go over too well with me because, you know, like I was fine. My helmet did its job, but I literally at around lunchtime on the Friday spent $200 on a new helmet, and by around 3 o'clock on Saturday, my helmet was a write-off. So that was my 27-hour helmet. And the sad part about it was the helmet I bought was on sale, and I went back to the bike shop to buy a replacement for it. It was a $560 helmet. So basically it was basically it ended up being a $760 weekend plus tax, and that was just to protect my delicate little head. So anyways, thought you might like a little short story like that. Hope you enjoyed it. The Stalker signing off. Hey, squirrely.